All right, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. What's up? How are y'all doing today? Sunday. Snowing again here in Ohio, but we are keeping our eyes on the prize. We're going to make it all the way to April when we can be in the lovely northeastern part of this country. We are coming to Philadelphia on April 3rd, New York City April 6th, New York City again April 7th, Portland, Maine April 9th, and Boston, Massachusetts Friday, April 12th. Those tickets will be available soon. For Boston, I got to put those up. We are going to have, I'm going to have that post going to the Patreon. So pay attention to all the social media stuff this week. That stuff is on the way. And you can also find us on Bands in Town. If you ever use that website to track artists.
It fucking makes you download an app to look at the dates. It makes me nuts. Because I used to have the app, so I get messages from, I get like hey Brian, guess who's got a message for you, and I'll check it. It's like download the app, and I'm like, I don't need to see it that bad.
Yeah. So if you go to bandsintown.com/StreetFightWCRS, you will actually be able to get tickets and take a look at all of our tour dates and all of that stuff. This week we had Matt Christmas on the Matt Christmas.
This was on the crap show.
Matt Christman. Gotta steady my hand here. Matt Christman on the bonus show, and you got to see our trailer show this week. For the first time in a long time, we watched some movie trailers. I'm gonna say somebody graced us with 6 brand new bottles of Ivanovich tobacco flavored menthol vodka. Someone gave us 6 more of them, so just to celebrate, I want to say, let's have a drink, right? Might as well finish up this bottle I got going here. How was your week, Brian?
Okay, I'm getting yelled at online. It's been a long fucking time since the boy's been in trouble. And he's back.
Turn your mic up a little bit, maybe.
He's back. Look who's back. It's the bad boy of online, Brian Quinby.
Pissing people off?
Pissing people off. It's been a long time, dude. I haven't been in trouble. I'm trying to think. Probably since actually the Scotty Burberry days. Up more? Down more? Probably since the Scotty Burberry days. I haven't been in a lot of trouble, right?
A long way.
Like I'm going up. I haven't been in trouble in a really long time. Am I good?
I can't hear it.
Am I good? Am I good?
Look at your OBS.
I'm looking at it. It looks normal to me.
Hey everybody, we're doing some
Take it down.
we're gonna do some audio checks
Hey,
right now.
what's up?
Right there should be.
All right, so yeah, I haven't been in trouble in a long time. I've been a good boy. I've been fighting with people, you know.
Yeah.
Got mad, of course. Every now and then, dude, you just get mad online. You were just telling me you want to yell at a guy today,
Yeah.
but you cooled out. You wanted to insult a man's dead dad today, which is, you know, I'm fine with it, but
Sure.
other people might see it as tasteless.
Of course. But yeah, there's an old fascist buddy of mine that I never really fought with before, and I want to use my one chance when his dad died to really just like make him ruin his fucking day.
Yeah, just be like, your dad was a fucking loser.
Yeah.
Fuck you. He raised you wrong, you turd, man.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm in trouble because I'm not in trouble. Like all the people that here's the thing. You get into these things online, you get into these little tussles, and it's like, it just depends on who's mad at you, right? Like, cause when the tankies get mad at us, that takes a little bit out of me. Because I always feel like I'm not a bad guy, man. You know, I'm just trying to do my thing. You try to do your thing. We both like some of the same stuff,
Sure.
you know? Or when other leftists get mad at me, it hurts. It stings a little. But when the conservatives get mad at me, I'm like, whatever.
To be expected. I mean, you're flippantly against them.
Yeah, and I'll make fun of them. And when the libs get mad at me, I'm like, you know, years of this. And we're in, what, year 9 of this now, of these people hating us? You know? So I basically, I said that what happened was there was a vigil this weekend that for the shooting victims in
Christchurch.
Crazy name for a city. I don't want to like hit them while they're down, but geez, I would be nervous in that city. Christchurch.
I feel like it's double downing on the same thing.
I do
It's like
too.
Church Square.
It's like if this was called Columbus Genocide was the name of the city. 'Cause
Sure.
it's like two of the same thing.
Right,
You
right.
know, the guy was a genocidal guy in Columbus. So a woman who is 18 years old went and she didn't appreciate Chelsea Clinton's appearance at a vigil. And I would argue that I don't think that Chelsea Clinton's exact words had anything to do with this guy shooting people. And I totally would never go out there and say that what happened with Chelsea Clinton and Ilhan Omar caused this thing to happen. But I think it is a fair critique to say that the way that she misinterpreted the words that Ilhan Omar said and the way that she reacted to that stoked Islamophobia among people who are traditionally relatively Islamophobic. We've talked about this in the past. Those centrist people, I mean, they talk all day about identity politics and how important these identity politics are. But
They also listen to Sam Harris.
what?
Also listen to Sam Harris.
Or they listen to, I mean, it's all white guys, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're standing for Beto O'Rourke now, you know, just another white guy. And like, they always, their identity politics always end at Muslim women or Arab men or anybody. Does, you know what I'm saying? Like, they always end there. They're always sort of cut out of their identity politics if they don't line directly up with them, which a lot of times, if I gotta tell you, if I living in America for the time that I've lived in America, and many of these people are way younger than me, if I was Muslim in this country, I think my politics would probably be more radical left, would align more
Right.
with a guy like maybe like Bernie Sanders or something than a guy like Beto O'Rourke or Donald Trump. I think those people are like, I think a lot of times, and Bernie's not good. You know what I mean? Especially in this regard. We're talking about this regard. But I just always, I think this weekend I finally broke because she confronted Chelsea Clinton, and then the very next day, like a defense squad comes out, right? Like all these people come out and they're like tagging this girl in posts, right? They're searching her posts. She's 18. Their posts from 2000 or from 2013 when she was, I think, 14 years old, where she used some insensitive language, the F slur, right? That kind of stuff. Like a 14-year-old now, I think, is different than a 14-year-old then. This thing moves very fast, right? Like the progress on how we speak moves very fast. And I will say that if I was being held to the standard that, I'm held to now when I was 14, I have like a lot of apologizing to do. You know what I mean? Like some of the things I said, I mean, like I'm going to be straight up with you. I used the N-word when I was 14. I said all kinds of shit when I was 14.
Right.
And I'm a 40-year-old man. So I know how people change over the years. And like I've seen the excuse that women develop before men, so she should have known better. And I've just seen so much stuff as like excuses to attack this woman who is 18. And like, I'm sorry, I know we got listeners that are 18 and 19 and 20 and stuff. I mean, to me, an adult that's 40 years old, y'all are like still kids. You're smart and you know what's going on, but like, I'm not going to hold you to the same standard that I hold a 40-year-old to. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
And I just think, so what happened is Kathy Griffin posted the video and called this person disgusting and also tagged her in the post. Now, I'm not a celebrity at all. I have 23,000 followers on Twitter, I believe, maybe 22, something like that. Somewhere around in that number. and like I am very conscious about not like encouraging pile-ons because I know what happens, you know, and like I try, you know, if somebody says something to somebody in the run of a conversation, I can't stop that. You know, but like tagging a person to even, I'm fucking gonna go down around 5,000. If you got 5,000 followers, you got to start thinking about what you're doing. You know, like what this retweet, this quote retweet is gonna lead to for that person. And Kathy Griffin has 2 million followers, and I just think she bullied that girl. And like I think it's fucking horrible what she did. And to post something about how you don't know bullying, I know bullying, is disgusting because bullying is subjective. And I would argue that bullying, outspoken people, I'm going to say this about myself. It's very hard to bully me. You know what I mean? Like, it's nearly impossible to bully me because I put myself out there. Right? And I say these things. But this girl's not a celebrity. She was overcome with emotion, and she may have said the wrong thing. Some of the stuff she said may have been wrong. But I'm not, like, ready to just... I find it disgusting. And so I posted about it. And unbelievably, there are actually people who are yelling at me for being mean to Kathy Griffin. And I think it's crazy. I don't know where this mindset comes from. You know, we need to defend this rich kid and this comedian at all costs. I know that she was scared when she posted that picture of her holding somebody's severed head, holding Donald Trump's severed head.
Who was scared?
Kathy Griffin.
Uh-huh.
And I know that Trump saying stuff about her, and I know that conservatives went after her, and I know that, like, you know, even when there's just the tiniest pile-on of me, it can feel very huge. And I understand that she's been treated badly by these people, but I also would think that that would be, because that's why I don't encourage people to pile on people who say things to me, because I know how bad it feels. You know what I mean? Like, I know that feels horrible. And I just wish that these people, these journalists and these pundits, like, would maybe consider that when they're doing these sorts of things, because it's bullying. It's wrong. It's wrong to use your platform to target a person who was overcome with emotion at a vigil. And Chelsea Clinton doesn't need to be stuck up for.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she's just nobody to stick up for, right? Like, I don't think. So, that's all. That's it. I
don't know. Yeah. I don't know what to say to any of that.
Sure. Yeah, it just makes me nuts, man. I don't like that. I don't like that sticking up for these. It feels like aristocracy. That's one.
But it feels like all we end up doing is talking about the aristocracy, and they always are the center of attention in the news.
Right.
They make themselves the news.
I know. Right. But I wish, I mean, it just feels naked now, I guess. It's this weird thing because I think the other reason I snapped is like the Meghan McCain stuff happened like within that 2 weeks. Of, like, the Chelsea Clinton thing happened, then the Meghan McCain thing happened, and then you saw all those rich people that weren't exactly rich get fucking swept up in that thing, and it's just like, the hierarchy and the caste system in this country is like just really on full display right now. And you're hearing shit about like the next Trump budget cuts out student loan forgiveness for national service and shit like that. Right. And it's just like, it's naked. It feels very naked now. And like, it's infuriating. I'm an anarchist. I see this stuff and I'm usually cool with it. And I don't want to be a person who's above everything. I don't want to be a person who's like, oh, it's just there. You know, I mean, nothing we can really do about it or just sit around and talk about it. I mean, I have a platform. I can at least say something. You know what I mean? I don't know where that gets us ever. But it is just watching these rich people show their ass it's something incredible with something like with socialism sort of on the rise right now and just like real look, I wouldn't even I feel dumb even just saying social with populism on the rise. I think it's very tone deaf, and I think that maybe it will accelerate things. Maybe not in a good way, because the other people that are pissed off, that are populists, are bad. Like the alt-right types, are bad. But I think that like they stoke these things. They stoke this class antagonism, and then they pretend that class doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I mean, the only time they're going to talk about it is if they have a chance to yell at you. I mean, they're not going to bring up anything. They don't use any of the activist terms that they all use. They haven't actually done like the self-crit. They haven't even done any of that stuff. It's just to win arguments and to advance their position.
Yeah, I mean, I've always sort of been of the mind of like, you learn as you go, and you're gonna fuck up and stuff like that. But a lot of the language used by a lot of those cynical people when they use, I mean,
but it's just this is the fight of the century. Is can we get white people to listen to non-white people? Can we get them, because they have a very hard time. Like when. It's like, you need to maybe listen. Can we get that to happen? It's not happening. Like, nobody wants. The racists don't want to listen. The liberals don't want to listen. They are all pretty much like, no, I think white supremacy has done pretty well so far. The colonialism and all the other Islamophobia and racism that's baked in is perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's easy. And I'm getting along fine.
I sell tote bags that raise money for people, so you can't really talk any shit about me, I donate a lot of money. I've spent $5,000 on a lot of dinners to help people.
I just always look at things like this where it's like I'm again, the Islamophobia is a very real thing with both.
We're not even close.
The whole thing.
Everybody's weirded out, but everybody's just fucking weirded out by him.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, that sounds like a weird way to say it, but
I understand what you're saying.
That is what it seems like to me. Everybody like. The people in my family, extended family, just can't come to understand that people were born on with a different religion or like on a different part of the planet, right?
Yeah.
And just ended up here and just want to eat and have food and just have food and shelter. I mean, it's like every other one of us, They really aren't looking for much more than food and shelter, place to pray.
I mean, it's such a crazy idea. Just so crazy the way that they can't separate out different, like they see Arab as one.
It's ISIS. It's like they're ISIS. They're like, you're in the same religion as ISIS, but for some reason their Christianity isn't the same Christianity that went and does all the mass spree killings.
Yeah.
That's not the same Christianity.
I mean, we've said this before, but
or when the same conservatism.
Right. We've said this before, but when you talk to a racist about like about like why they hate black men or women, they describe like one singular type of person that if they were white would probably also be horrible. You know what I mean? Like they describe the the person that they think is the most common is the least common type of person. Yeah. They don't give to any races or even like sexes at this point. They don't give them any like. There's no difference unless you're a white man. Then there's like a million different shades of white. There's so many different shades of white. So many different. It's like a very white like white people have like a million different cultures. Yeah. It's crazy. It's great, but all the black people are the same. All the Arab people are the same. It's fucking crazy to me, man. Like you think look at a country like Iran, and you don't think that there's a you in Iran. Do you know what I mean? Like that what is happening right here, right now, isn't happening somewhere there.
But the thing about it is that there is a lot more. Like 10 years ago, we didn't have someone like Ilhan Omar even saying this kind of stuff. Not that I'm hopeful for any sort of government, but it's nice when somebody says Palestine and they're like in the Congress, and says something that against AIPAC and all that shit. Like the trouble that she stirred up is like what I would at least like to have the conversation about. If it's going to be nasty and mean and everybody's going to put their racism out on the line or their Islamophobia, I want to know where it's at. Like these are the conversations we should be having. They don't. It's usually just bullshit that people talk about.
It is a ton of like. when she said APAC and they got mad about that. I found that to be such a like.
It's valid.
What she said is definitely valid, and like
It wasn't
APAC
made up.
is Israeli. That's not like this is a lobby for Israel.
Yeah.
This is not a lobby for Jewish people.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And like that one dude, Eli Valley, that made that Meghan McCain thing, got dragged for being anti-Semitic.
Right.
And he's like a Jewish guy.
Right.
And like I saw a few other left-leaning Jewish people getting just fucking destroyed by people who are not.
It's getting stirred up. I mean, it's kids, us, internet connected people. A lot of them end up being red pilled. That's going to happen.
Yes.
But the other ones do start to understand what the real power structures look like in this country and who's benefiting it from and who's not. I mean, you look around to your left and right and who else is fucking struggling to get paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's you know, it's other fucking working class people, you know, and they are the other cultures and immigrants, and you know they make up the vast majority of our working class here. You know, it's just fucking. I mean, it's just the heart of the of racism, and it's the most maddening part. I mean, of like being involved with all of this. I think that's what makes me shut down the most and makes me not even concerned with it because it sounds cold, and I'm not really like that. It's just I am initially just it's so hard to break that barrier with both sides. Like you can't even like expect a Democrat to like fucking tag team some like your conservative uncle with you.
Especially with Islamophobia.
You're gonna get they'll be both screaming at you about protect Israel and shit.
Or like you know, if Trump tomorrow decided to go to Iran, the arguments from me and you and the people around us would be like, you know, no, this is wrong. This is like imperialism and war, and I don't want to do this. But the arguments from liberals are like a completely different.
We need to be nice about this war.
Yes,
We need to do nice stuff too. We need to do nice stuff. We need to drop food and bombs.
Yes, yeah, it's wild to me. I just and again,
yeah, Beto O'Rourke is going to start a new fucking activist wing of the government called Food and Bombs.
Boy, you liking him?
He's great.
I
see a fucking duct tape wallet.
Yeah, he's top notch. That guy.
I know.
I mean,
he's
he
a king,
is just,
dude.
When I sit around and I think about what I want in a presidential race, right? I like having a Bernie Sanders there. I liked having Trump there at first. I didn't think it was possible that he could win. I was really into it at the beginning because it was like, this guy's goofing off, you know? Remember Mike Gravel? Guys like that. I dig that. But I always will love a cool guy. Like every time a cool guy shows up, a cool guy politician, I'm fucking 100% in because it's just impossible. Like what does he do? Is he like Mumford and Sons? Is that like what his thing? Like he's just what is he? Is he he's mod? Okay,
It's somebody that used to be a punk but then's cleaned up and it gets like a job. He's probably got like one Black Flag bar tattoo on his calf or something.
Okay, so I'm walking.
That he made a mistake when he was 19 and then he went to college at 20 and became Beto O'Rourke.
So I'm walking a few days ago, right? When he announces, okay, I'm walking downtown on Broad and High. There is a building that has a news scroll of headlines. I love it. I read the headlines every time I go by. It's basically where I get all my headlines.
Okay.
That people in Columbus.
That's good. They just put them right there. Public headlines.
Yeah.
That's a nice feature.
It's what people in Columbus are probably talking about, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's 10 TV. It's probably the most popular stories on their website. So it's like, I'm getting a pretty good idea. You know, hundreds, if not thousands of people walk by these headlines every day, and you know they read them.
I'm getting off the bus. I have my attaché case, and I'm running to a meeting, and I need something to spark up a conversation, and there's a headline right there on the side of that building.
So this headline's scrolling by, and it says Black Keys and Modest Mouse announce Columbus, Ohio tour date.
Uh-oh.
Then the next one that comes by is Beto O'Rourke announces his 2020 candidacy, and I'm like, boy, that's for a real specific audience. Those two in a row,
Right. They were giving someone a lot of good news. Yeah, this
There's
city's gonna
just
this city's gonna shut down. There's gonna be an earthquake. There's gonna be a lot of stomping and clapping on the ones and threes when they come to town.
I'm just trying to think of like. I was trying to picture the people in my mind, but Mumford and Sons did just play here the other night, and I know some people that went to it, and I'm like, that they're amped about Beto O'Rourke. Like,
Sure.
if you can buy, like, if you're really into punk or like prog rock or some kind of alt rock.
No, I like post punk actually. I'm
Yeah.
I'm more refined these days.
So if you like that stuff, but you only like bands that you can get the T-shirt at the mall, right?
Right?
That's
it.
That's a
Right.
Beto O'Rourke right there.
Whoa, he said he likes Ramones Rocket to Russia. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
I know.
He's driving a pickup.
Deep cuts.
He's driving a pickup, which is classic.
Yeah.
Very classic.
He has a lot of French blue colored shirts, which means he's very successful.
The first picture of him, Brett, was him, like the first, when he was standing on top of that coffee shop. He's in a coffee shop and he's standing on top of the counter, like rapping to the people. And it's just like, God, this guy, he's going to fucking, when the Democratic debates happen, this motherfucker's going to roll his sleeves up and sit backwards on a chair. And just rap during his time. He's incredible.
Yeah,
He has no chance in hell. Like,
There's nothing to be serious about that guy. No serious issue I would talk to that guy about.
I love when he was like filling his gas tank up and he was like, oh, I just had to put $24 in my van. That's why we need your donations, man. So I can fill up the van. And then today he announced like, I want to do my tour. Like he's giving a
works.
talk.
It's so many people. Like the people that are actually going to vote though, like he's hitting their sweet spot.
I know there's some people just freaking out like right now, but he did the thing. He said a thing today. I just saw a tweet today. He was giving a speech and he said, I want to do this campaign like more like DIY or punk rock.
He said that?
Yeah.
Did he say RAWK?
He just said, I want to, well, he didn't mention any bands. Cause I heard recently that when they asked him who his like heroes were, one of them was Ian McKay.
Right. Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah. I mean, an Ian McKay president is wild to think of. Just that.
I mean, it happens. We get old eventually.
So he goes,
We
he goes, I
have a
wanna run-"
Radiohead governor.
That's true. He's I want to run this thing like punk rock or DIY, but I'm not really like into punk rock or DIY now. I'm listening to like more Rush. And
Is that
I'm
what he
like,
said?
Yeah. I'm thinking I mean, you
can't-
don't want to punk rock.
You can't keep up with it. Your neck gives out eventually. From all that headbanging, you have to get into something that's a little bit longer, a little bit of slower burn. Something like 2112.
Can't do the Mars Volta anymore.
Sure.
Because that's the other thing. He's buddies with them.
That's great.
So if he gets the nomination,
That's who's going to be there. We're
I
going
would
to
love
see
to see-
Cedric in a fucking suit with
one
up
arm
there
scissor
neck-
being played at the Democratic convention. I keep having these weird visions of like the Democratic convention happen and the Mars Volta coming out and playing like a 12-minute song with bird sounds and that audience like trying to get into it.
Yeah. Like, what about Bruce Springsteen? Was he taken? We love when Bruce Springsteen comes out here.
Beto O'Rourke's only 6 years older than me.
Wow. Well, he, I tell you what, he could always continue just taking pictures for J. Crew ads
That's what he looks
instead
like.
of being a governor.
What
Does he do? See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's like it may seem like we're not getting into the substance, and that's exactly what it is.
Well, he's
this
not.
motherfucker doesn't. He doesn't want to say much.
No.
He just wants to be like, you see me out here peeping the fucking wallet chain, bro. You know, like, I got etnies on, you know.
Well, they
I
asked
wear
him.
fucking Lee pipes.
They're like, hey, Robert Francis O'Rourke, that's his name. Hey, buddy, what would you like to talk about your first day fundraising like Bernie Sanders did? Remember how he talked about it? And he was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Because he's astroturfed all to fucking hell, dude. You know that. Because he's just like, he's just Obama.
Didn't
That's
he
all
say-
he is Obama, dude.
Obama had a good preacher.
Yeah. He's white Obama.
I don't like that. I don't think that's a good comparison
He
to
talks like him and he doesn't say anything. Is what I'm trying to say. Like he has that vibe of like
He's more of
I
like a John
believe in-
Kerry to me, like a windsurfer.
Nah, I see him as a guy who is like, I believe in all the same things you do, but none of it can
I
be
can't
done.
say them though.
Yeah, I can't say them and none of it can be done, that was the Obama thing, right? Was like, you would just sit there and watch his speeches in that first election and be like, damn, me and him got so much in common, me and Obama. Great. Like, this is going to be the best president of all time. And then he got in office and he was like, nah, can't do any of that stuff. It's
Right.
wild shit.
Can't make it happen.
We were just saying, like, I thought we were just telling our hopes and dreams on that game.
Right. I thought we were just like talking shit, man, into the night air.
Beto is going to have so many, like, his commercials are going to be him
Yeah.
like sitting around like a fire pit, like the kind, because there's a lot of people that are like sitting at a fire pit playing like cornhole and wearing like really expensive barbecue clothes.
Yeah, drinking Topo Chicos.
Drinking Topo Chicos and IPAs.
Yeah.
Like a lot of or goes or sours
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
they're into
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
And sitting in REI folding chairs, like the really expensive ones, and just chatting.
And saying, like, he can do it. He's the guy that can do it. I just believe in it. You know? Gassing themselves up.
I mean, let me read part of his wiki.
He's just cool as hell.
I mean, let me read part of his wiki because it's so perfect, Brad. It just really does feel like a commercial guy, a guy made out of whole cloth.
Yeah, he seems like the
invented.
Manchurian candidate.
After being introduced to Bad Brains as a teen, O'Rourke became a fan of punk music. O'Rourke, along with two friends from El Paso, Mike Stevens, they played instruments. He played the bass. They recruited Cedric for their band, and together they formed the band Faust.
Okay.
Okay. A Bixler Savala recalled O'Rourke and Clark introducing him to a zine called Book Your Own Fucking Life, a primer on how to schedule your own gigs without an agent. During the summer,
everybody had that book that did indie bands back in those days.
You got that book?
I just know. I don't have that book, but I know about the book.
I'm sending it to my wife. She's booking our lives.
It's
for us.
outdated. It's from the fucking 90s.
Yeah, you just use it. I mean,
Okay.
whatever. So they went on tour with Feist. And
Feist?
yeah,
Like the Apple iPod?
it says
band?
during the summer they toured the United States and Canada, garnering
not
the
exactly a
support
punk.
of Feist. The group released a self-titled demo and a 7-inch record, the El Paso Pussycats, on Western Breed Records in 1993. He also played drums in the band Swedes, who released
Okay.
an album called Summer in 1995.
Okay, so here's the kind of punk shows that he was playing at. Feist does that song, 1, 2, 3, 4, tell me that you love me more. 5, 6, 7, oh, oh, oh. It was like an Apple iTunes song.
That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's punk shit.
Well, he would so be in an iPod commercial if they still did those. Where
Yeah.
they're dancing around in the shadows. He's like, that's probably what he is. When they had the shadows dancing, he is just like that shadow. They made that into a real person. He's like an Apple commercial that you see on a TV in an IKEA is what he is.
He needs to do like an Instagram photo of him doing the circle jerks pose from the fucking logo.
Yeah. So that's Beto. We'll talk about him more on the other.
I hope not. I hope to never hear about him ever again.
Me and Brad are going to talk about the shit about him. You know, depending on what he says, he seems kind of boring so far.
Yeah,
but
I just want to know what I heard that he was already saying, like, I don't think we can do health care.
Oh, he said that right away. He was like,
that's
somebody was like, do you
stupid.
remember when you were really
It's like, this is why I don't listen to my fucking punk friends, because they don't pay attention to shit. Their eardrums are blown out, and they've been drinking cheap beer and doing cheap fucking blow for years. And
Actually,
they're not people that you trust with these opinions, with this type of shit.
His feelings actually seem to be, I used to believe in it, but now I don't know if single payer is the best way or if it's popular. It's like,
he's
I don't
SLC
know.
punk. That's what he is. He's Matthew Lillard and SLC punk.
Now,
Thanks. Great.
Now we need to go
Fuck
to
it up
one of
from
his
the inside,
rallies.
Beto. Go ahead.
We need to go to one of his rallies, Brett, and you need to call him SLC punk because he'll get that and it'll also make him mad.
He'll be like, no, I didn't think anybody's seen that movie. in a while.
The Republicans run ads like, this
Yeah.
guy's SLC punk. You want a fake punk in office?
Right? Yeah, yeah. This guy's not a real punk. He opened up for Feist, and then it'll play the iPod commercial. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me that you love me more.
They'll get like Glenn Danzig to stand,
Yeah.
to come out for Trump, you know, and be like, oh, you think Beto's punk? I got Glenn Danzig.
All the real brain eaters vote for Trump.
I don't know if Danzig's a Trump. I was trying to think
He
of a
could
punk
be.
Trump guy, but he's got
I mean, they
vibes.
all are too. That's the thing too. Is like you're hanging out with sound guys that are fascist from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then they show up to work to do sound and then spew a little bit of hatred to you. Yeah, like that's who's hanging out at a lot of these places. It's like the punk scene isn't like where I wouldn't go for like the most excitement until like until I hear the ideas that came from it. But I don't think that's enough for me to like say, make this guy the president.
Yeah.
He was in a DIY band.
Every punk thing I've ever been to, the people there have freaked me out a little bit.
Well, it's,
And, like,
it's
last night I was at a punk-
It's a great place. They're great environments. I don't want to shit on the punks.
I went and saw Mumula last night. And
Your brother opened for Mumula? Your brother-in-law?
well, I think they call it post lining now. It's
Oh.
like you play after the headliner. So he was playing after Mumula.
Interesting.
They do that in punk shows. They do that, like as in like so the
Like,
headliner.
people want to see the headliner.
I mean, yeah, the
and then you can
headliner
hang
wants
out.
to go on at. The headliner wants to go on at fucking 10. You know how that feels. We have a time we want to go on. And I don't give a shit if somebody goes on after me. You know what I mean? Like, it's over at that point, so they just play it after them. And we go to see Mumula, and I almost saw a fight. Like, this place that we went to is a really small bar. Listeners in Columbus will remember the Tree Bar. We did a show there with the Sams, and we did another show where you get pounded. They say it holds 85 people, but it probably holds 40. And people couldn't fit in. And there was this woman there that just really expected to have a lot of personal space. And she almost got into like 4 fights with
That's so
people
weird.
for bumping into
That's
her.
so weird when people do that at a
Yeah,
concert.
she looked like a punk too. I was just like, this is crazy. She was so mad.
Probably
dude.
revved up.
You fired up.
Inside-
Don't bump into me.
Probably decided earlier that day she was gonna get in a fight later.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've gone to a lot of concerts recently, and I've seen a lot of crimes. So, mosh pit crimes. You know, mosh pit, like the people that stand right on the outside and drink beer and then get their beer knocked over and then get really mad about it
Yep.
and start fucking like pounding
Shoving
on
people
people
really
and you're
hard,
like, what is
digging elbows into
Yeah.
people.
Why are you standing here? Like, these people feel like they have a right to just stand where everybody's moshing, and they're like, well, I'm not in it. I don't want to, so
Right.
it's not going to happen here, okay? And it's like,
Yeah,
step back.
try to stop it.
Yeah, you need to, if you don't want to mosh, but you want to be close, you have to stand 3 rows behind the mosh pit.
Yeah.
You don't get to stand, like, right in the front. And then every once in a while, somebody's going to come flying out of there.
Yeah,
You
someone
just gotta deal
will,
with it.
everyone will get knocked over.
You think there will be a mosh pit at a Beto rally?
A circle pit, maybe?
Transition for one arm, sis. They'll like play that.
Yeah.
And fucking people will go nuts.
Get away! Get away! No, and then he'll be like, don't fucking mosh!
Oh,
Don't
yeah, he
fucking
hates
mosh.
that.
I'm from Austin, Texas. Me and Cedric are from Austin, Texas, and we don't fucking mosh there.
Yeah,
We
we're
fucking
against it.
listen.
Yeah.
You listen to what we're fucking doing. We're creating art. You're just a fucking sheep that listens.
Brett has real feelings about the Mars Volta. I agree with him 100%. I'm on your side.
I'm not taking. I'm just saying.
Well, you did throw a beer at one of them
I did throw a beer at one of them.
because you were mad at him.
Sure.
Because
but
they-
I was in my worst behavior.
But I think it was fine.
Okay.
I think what you did was justified.
Sure.
You
I
don't
did what
get to
everybody else
choose how
thought.
people like this is a custom. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I certainly would expect if I do bad enough that I could risk having a beer thrown at me. I think that's part of my going on
Moshing
stage.
is a custom too. It's just a thing that happens.
Sure. People get rowdy.
Not it isn't like a thing you can stop for. You can't just be like, we don't want you to mosh at this concert.
Let's get on these phones.
Having requirements for how your audience reacts is very weird to me.
Agreed.
You know? All right.
All right, let's do this. Let's see who's on the line first. Hope this works. Thank you for calling Street Fight Radio. Who are we talking to?
Hello? We hear you.
Hey,
Hey, what's
how's it
up?
going?
Who's this? Nice.
Can't hear the phone through the stream, by the way. So.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. The comedy show in Philly? Nice. That's awesome. Did it go well? Hello? I'm sorry. It was. That's great. That's all. I love hearing leftist comedy go well, especially in Philly, where I'm about to be. So, so what's going on tonight? What? Yeah, me too. We haven't done a show since January 14th, so we're really ready to get out there and get to work. So what's going on tonight? Sweet. Okay.
Shut down the stream.
Huh?
Just shut down the stream.
I did not shut down the stream.
Because they can't hear the calls.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why.
Okay.
Sorry. You guys can hear it, right?
Okay. Where did Matt go? No, jail. It sounds like he might have went to jail. So the IRS checks how many pizza boxes you sell? Cash only. Well, I watched this thing, the Adam McKay economics documentary, where they talked about cash only businesses are mostly just money laundering operations anyway. And then and on the Jersey Shore, I'm sure that is more true than other places. I mean, I don't know though. I always think. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh no, you go. You go.
I think they can hear now.
Huh?
I think they can hear now.
What? I can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Nice.
They can hear it.
Okay. Okay. How was that? I'm terrible. I mean, I know that place is. Okay. I know that place is race. Isn't that the racist place where, like, if Trump comes through, they have to hide all the black employees? Ugh. Good Lord. That is crazy. What were some of the fucked up things working there? Did he think that was cool though? I think part of me is like, if I meet a mobster, I'm gonna be like kinda think it's cool, like starstruck a little bit, like especially if they look like real, like if they're in like the suits or in one of the track suits and they're like really acting like a mobster, I would be really fucking into that. It's like you have a character. Yeah, because they are basically a mobster is like a middle class job. I think. I don't think it's a big money, like the way they make it look in The Godfather.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, the way they make it look like they're living in mansions and shit. They're just regular old dudes.
One
man.
guy is.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, and it sucks too because it's like they do get killed in high numbers and
Yeah.
always by other guys in their gang, which is really shitty. Well, thanks for calling in, man. I think our phones are fucked, so we have to
The phones are fine. We can still do the show. We just can't. They just can't hear us in the stream. We'll just shut the stream down.
Okay.
Keep doing the show.
I'm so distracted though by what is happening.
Not being recorded.
Yeah.
Great.
So well, thank you for calling. I don't know what's going on, but thanks for calling in. All right. Cool. You too. Do you want to just do a show? You want to just continue doing a show, or well, we have
don't
to
have anything.
edit that out?
We don't have any audio to record right now.
This isn't even happening.
Oh, this is happening. They can't hear us. You're right.
Right. We can just cut out that call, I guess.
Yeah.
And just do a podcast. But I don't know when we started either.
Well, it isn't fun. We can just start.
What?
We can start now, I guess.
Well, let's.
Or no, we already did a whole bunch of bullshit about Beto O'Dork and
That's what I was saying. We probably already did 15, 20, 30 minutes.
Jake has a good bong rip sound effect that he does that to let people know that there's like a cut.
Well, I really apologize about these call-in shows. It's really, I mean, it's just as frustrating for all of us here as it is probably for the listeners who want to call into the show.
Yeah,
It's like setting this up is hell. It really absolutely is hell.
Agreed.
It's the hardest thing we've ever done, I think. Well, I mean, working a real job sucked. You know?
Yeah. But this is frustrating as fuck.
Yeah. But I think the best thing to do is to just let it go. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Let's just do a show. It's my 10-year anniversary anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, let's celebrate. Me and
Go
you.
home.
Me and you celebrate.
Celebrate,
Let's
watching
have a
Forged
drink.
in Fire.
Have a
We need
drink.
to find out when this show launched because me and you should celebrate when we hit 10 years, right? Or 9 years even. We never know when this show started, right?
I can look at like when we first posted stuff maybe, but yeah, we didn't really I didn't get you a ring or anything. I didn't get you a promise ring.
Nobody does that though. Me and my wife don't know our actual true I literally hate you call in studio. I've never hated anything more right now.
I did.
So, is the chat open still?
Yeah.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Chat, you can send us questions.
And I know how to block people that use slurs. Sorry, I knew there was a bunch of slurs in there, and I was frantically trying to figure out how to fucking get those out of there.
I was during that call, I was had no idea. It felt like there was so much going on
It is.
in here, and I had no idea. I was just like, what is fucking happening? I need help here. I need help with the talking part of the show.
No, you good. You never stop talking.
No, but I need you. I couldn't do it by myself. You know, I am a lot of talker though. I will agree with that. But you do good at 4 minutes of talking at the beginning of the show. So let's get some questions in the chat. Let's see if we got anything in the old doc. How's that sound? Sound good to everybody?
Any peels on the docket today?
There are no appeal on the docket today, just my own. You know what? So last night, I'll talk about this. Last night, I was at this bar, and they were playing Like a Stone.
Oh,
you know that
yeah,
song?
It's a hit.
Oh, God. You're fucking telling me, dude. I'm listening to this song, and I'm going nuts. And yes, I am at a hip bar, kind of. Like a dive bar that plays decently cool music, and I'm there to see some pretty cool stuff. And very cool stuff.
You went and saw Mummies play music.
I saw Mummies play surf rock.
There's a bunch of mummies that play garage rock.
It's surf rock.
Surf
It's basically also surf rock is excellent to me because all the songs sound exactly the same. It's such a great thing to get into because it's unless you're Dick Dale, it's basically R.I.P. Dick Dale. Unless you're Dick Dale, it's basically all the same thing. All the songs they sound exactly the same, Brad.
Great.
Yeah, great. I mean,
They sound
that's what I've been saying.
like an ocean breeze.
I say that all the time about music is that when people say, they used to say it about AC/DC, right? Which, you know, I'm not like Mr. AC/DC. I'm not like,
Oh yeah, people hate AC/DC.
yeah,
Wasn't there like
people
a
who-
bar that like banned it or something?
Right, and the reason it's banned is because all the songs sound the same. I would submit to you that they all sound like they kick ass.
Yeah, in like 100 different ways.
Yeah. I mean,
They
say-
catch you, and every time you catch one, they get you going.
I know. AC/DC doesn't suck. And like all your songs sounding the same is just really giving the audience. I want people that want me to enjoy myself, if that makes sense to you. Like like we were just talking about the Mars Volta and times that, you know, we saw them that weren't the best time because it didn't feel like they cared if you had fun, and it was just like they were there just for themselves, which sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that. And a lot of comedians do that too. That was something very early on with me and Brett. I think we both sort of bonded when we were doing stand-up because there were so many of those comedians who were like, hey, there were so many of those comedians who were like, I'm going to walk this room. I'm going to piss people off, and thought it was super cool. And or like when people didn't laugh at their jokes, they would say this crowd's fucked. Like, fuck these people. This crowd sucks and shit like that. And I think both of us always felt like, well, you're an entertainer. And if you're not doing that, then like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's interesting or cool.
Sure.
And like, if you're just doing it for yourself, I guess this is the place to do it, you know, because it's an open mic night and nobody's there.
Right.
Remember the devil?
Yeah, I do remember.
You ever
that.
have we ever brought up the devil on here?
No, we haven't. I don't remember ever bringing up the devil.
Because we're afraid to bring it up.
I'm not. He's not
Sort
gonna.
of.
The devil's not gonna find out.
He'll never listen to this show.
Well, the devil does know a lot of stuff.
He knows, he remembers me and you,
Sure.
which is incredible that he remembers us, because he just always seemed to me like, I don't know. He's like one of those older guys that's a campus guy.
Yeah.
They-
Well, he's just a comedian, is what he called himself at
he's
the time.
That's,
He was a comedian that
Yeah,
went by the
okay.
name The Devil. He went to open mic stand-up nights, and what he would do is he would spend the whole 5 minutes standing on the stage being completely silent.
and he would take a flashlight in the last 2 minutes and shine it in his face,
Under his chin.
under
He
his
put it
chin.
chin.
But he didn't say
But he
anything.
never said anything.
Like telling Scowy Stowies or anything. He was just really like,
He would just sit up there and people would yell at him or say stuff, and he would just sit up there for 5 minutes and be silent.
and the people who were comics just, I mean, loved it, right? Like, they
Sure,
would
some
put
of
him
them
up
did.
there.
I'm sure not everyone.
No, well, me and you didn't. We hated
Sure,
it.
but yeah, a lot of people seemed to be quite impressed by this.
I mean, one of these weeks when we get the phones working, we need to have people call in and talk about their characters that, like, some people think are charming and some people hate, because, like, we play all these bars in town and they all have a character, or play these bars in different cities and they all have, like, characters and stuff, but they're just not charming to me because I'm there, like, to be the center of attention. Like, I'm putting on a show. I need to hold these people's attention. I don't want to work around you. You know what I mean? So, all right, we got anybody in the chat got anything asking us?
No, they just said that this is the best. Someone said this is the first good music taste we've ever had.
AC/DC?
Music opinion, yeah.
Bro, I firmly believe that bands that all sound the same are all good.
Well, I don't know about that. That's a little too much.
I mean, I guess, like, if they suck, but AC/DC does not suck.
Right.
They're good.
Right.
I guess. I mean, I really like to shit on them a little bit, though, because it's classic rock.
Why would you ask? What's your advice for handling St. Patrick's Day?
Stay home, man. I stayed home. I didn't go to anywhere where St. Patrick's Day was happening today.
Mine would be.
I hate it, though.
I would say give away every other shot is what I used to always, towards the end, I would just give away shots or dump them, because people drink way too much and you don't want to keep up with them because you're going to fucking regret it, because they don't give a fuck about what tomorrow feels like, but you should.
They will. They do
I mean,
on
get
Sunday.
fucked up, but like, going to blackout is too far. Like you can go too much with the alcohol.
I do want to talk a little bit about St. Patrick's Day and things like that, where it's like, why don't we give people the day off after? Just the next day off?
Yeah, we
You
should.
know?
No, there's definitely should be.
I mean, I really think people like
could
New
be called
Year's
like
Eve.
Irish blessing on the
Yeah.
18th.
You don't have to call. I really think people like New Year's Eve so much because you're guaranteed the
Right.
next day off.
Right, to nurse a hangover.
The last few years, the 4th of July has been on a weekday. And that fucking sucks, dude. You go to the fucking fireworks and everybody's like, oh, I got to be at work tomorrow at 7, so I got to go home. So you can't get a real party going, you know?
Yeah. Well, last night was the night. They just move it to Saturday, right?
No, well, yesterday was 3/16 day. I don't think you knew that.
Oh, everybody's doing stuff.
Hell yeah, give me a hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would have. That's what I would. I celebrate that.
Sure.
Actually, but I got a news story. You want to talk about a news story?
Sure.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
This happened in a horrible place, West Memphis, Arkansas.
Okay. Why is that a horrible place?
That's where they did the West Memphis 3 wrong.
Oh, yes. Sorry. You're right.
Remember that story?
I do, Vivid. I do know what
It
you're
still
talking
makes
about.
me mad to this day.
It is
I
fucked
still. They will never not make me mad
Sure.
for that story because they just fucking railroaded those kids.
Yes.
And put them in jail for like ever, dude.
Yeah.
They were in jail. How long were they in jail?
I want to say 20 years.
Yeah,
but-
it was something like that for nothing, dude. Probably. And then they didn't even. The other thing is, this fucking kid gets murdered. They don't even solve the murder. You know?
Right, right. Well, yeah, I mean, they didn't have to do much work, you know.
Yeah. They're so. They're so lucky that
18 years.
Yeah, they're so lucky that Henry Rollins started like worrying about them. You know, because that was Henry Rollins.
I think it was that documentary.
Well, yeah, but
That
then
documentary got passed around.
yeah, but then Henry Rollins also, and like
I didn't even know he talked about them.
oh my God, that's who got me down with it.
Oh,
It was like Henry Rollins and Lars, like the guys from Metallica and stuff would be talking about it, and they would like go on TV and be like, if I was a teenager in West Memphis, Arkansas, they would have done this to me. You have to
Yeah.
understand that I could be in prison for 18 years. It could happen to any of us.
Yeah.
Any of us who like metal, you
Right.
know, which is true.
any metalhead.
Down there in the South, dude. Back then, they were just so freaked out about heavy metal. They were just throwing people in prison.
Yeah, we have a really good story. Someone wrote in and sent us about the 90s and their friends that were all metalheads in the South and got chased around by the cops and like bullied out of town, basically.
Yeah,
I
so-
have to figure out. I want to make it like an audio play or something. I still have it. It's amazing.
Yeah. So these guys got. We can talk about this real quick. I mean, it's something, you know. What happened was this kid got murdered
Yikes!
in West Memphis, Arkansas.
That's
Right?
do they do? What else do they do there? Just
I don't know.
kids get murdered.
I mean, just shit. Just listen to that. We'll do the news story and then we can maybe circle back because it just is a vile place. This story's been sitting in the folder for a long time, so I wanted to. This is something I wanted to hit.
Yeah,
though.
you don't have to call it a vile place.
I will call it that.
Okay.
Brett is defending West Memphis, Arkansas. He thinks
It's
everything
all
they've
bad
ever done
news
is great.
The
Yeah.
bad news is just lots of bad news.
I mean, it's just okay. It's not a vile place. It's an awful place that that like basically their main export is bad news
Okay.
and bad things.
Right.
Like every time you hear it, it's like, oh, West Memphis, Arkansas, we railroaded 3 teenagers and put them in jail for 18 years. West Memphis, Arkansas, one Arkansas lawmaker wants to get more students reading by putting money on the line, specifically their lunch money. Representative Alan Clark, R. Lonsdale, that's probably where Lonnies live, right?
Sure.
Proposed a bill that would cut lunch funding in schools that struggle with reading, and he is working to get others to support the idea. Clark's proposed bill, if passed, would reduce a district's national school lunch funding if they're struggling in the reading department over a period of time. I don't understand, and hopefully that bill won't get passed, Lakita Chalmers, a parent in West Memphis, said. Chalmers has 4 children, and one has recently had some trouble reading. Even though she knows what Clark is aiming to help fix, she doesn't understand how cutting lunch funds could help literacy struggles in the state. I don't see any connection in that. I agree with that. Hungry kids probably aren't learning very well. I
No,
mean,
it doesn't make any sense.
These guys are always fucking around with like the school lunches, but it's never like, hey, can we make these like real foods instead of like
Sure.
processed food bricks?
Right.
Everything.
Can we get somebody besides Pillsbury to make the breakfast?
Do you think that one of the reasons, because this is an interesting thing about kids these days, is at least in paid neighborhoods where people with money go to school, most of the kids pack. They're all packing.
Sure.
They're all bringing hummus,
Right.
and carrots,
Right.
and
Kalamata olives.
kasha. Oh God! And here's the funny thing about that: if you brought hummus when I was in fucking school, people would have destroyed you.
Yeah.
I just
It
think
wasn't. Yeah.
it was
the most
different
popular.
times.
Yeah.
People
Now
would put
now
their hands
They
in
take
it.
bento boxes.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh God! Don't ever.
Have some daikon radish for lunch.
In Groveport, Ohio, you bought your lunch or you didn't eat lunch, and those were the only two ways you could have lunch.
Yeah, I noticed in Charlotte school, it's mostly that like the snooty kids are like their parents pack them lunches and they have to eat it, and it's
Your daughter buys,
like
right?
whole grains and stuff. Yeah, my daughter buys.
She's such a pain. She'll
She'll just pretend she lost her lunch.
yeah. You're turning her into like a bad, like, because I think
I'm not turning her into
part of
anything.
me thinks
I'm letting her make bad decisions.
but part of me thinks that like the bad school food is like the key entryway into the crappy food we eat every day. You know?
Sure.
I got into chili cheese burritos because that's what they sold at Groveport High School when I was a kid. You buy 79 cents. They had chili cheese burrito, then called Cholitos.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't compare. It's like your parents are going to make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and maybe a bag of Doritos or those cheddar peanut butter crackers and apple, grapes, or French fries and pizza.
Yeah.
There's not the competition. I just don't see it.
I didn't like any of it. I didn't like school food. It freaked me out a little bit to eat. I remember the first time I packed, I almost cried. When they handed me the pizza, I was in first grade and we were having pizza for dinner, and I've been packing all the time, right? I'm just packing kid for the first part of the year. And then they're like, we're going to have pizza tomorrow. And I was like, holy shit, pizza. And like, I'm so excited in the morning because when I was in school in the morning, you raised your hand for what you wanted to eat. It'd be like,
Sure.
who wants pizza? Who wants turkey? Who wants it's only two choices.
Right.
Pizza, mostly pizza. But then like all the kids for pizza, obviously all the kids raise their hand for pizza. And get in there. I'm like, I'm about to get my pizza. I'm so excited. They handed it to me and I was like, I was grief stricken by how gross the pizza looked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just couldn't.
We had a pretty good school pizza, man. It came in those tinfoil trays and it had a real thick side, and it would get like blackened and crispy around the edge. It was more like Detroit style, to be honest.
No, ours was just see, I'm old as fuck too, so they probably upgraded the pizza because I remember straight up they got on Little Charlie's when I was in 6th grade. You was able to just get a Little Charlie and live a good life.
Nobody knows what that is.
You don't know what a Little Charlie is?
No.
Do you know those Red Baron pizzas?
Yeah, the little
that are
round.
little and round, and they have that's
Yeah.
a Little Charlie. That's actually called a Little Charlie.
Okay, thanks for the knowledge. Thanks.
That's actually the actual food name is
Yeah.
Little Charlie, not pizza.
Then we got the slab pizza, but yeah, back in the day, my elementary school pizza was the best school pizza ever.
Yeah.
And then there would always be some geek would put like a napkin on top to soak up the grease.
I fucking absolutely hate people that soak up the grease off the. It makes me physically angry. I think I yelled at somebody in one of those cities we played in.
Yeah.
We went out to a pizza place afterwards. I saw somebody
yeah.
soaking up their grease, and I was feeling like shit. But I was just like, "What the fuck are you doing? Soaking up that grease? That's the good part of this thing." Yeah, Lib. Chalmers has 4. Okay, so the National School Lunch Program pours into schools and is different than the National School Lunch Act program, which provides free and low-cost lunch to students. Still, the parents we talked to said it's a stretch to touch lunch funding at all. This
Yeah.
is most definitely not the option, Marilyn Canaday, a grandmother to 5, said. She understands the bill is supposed to act as incentive to push those schools to improve, but she still doesn't agree with how it could impact students. Isn't that sad?
It's like, I'm going to hurt your fucking children if you don't get these numbers up. It's
Right.
like, how is that helping them? What are you doing here?
I know. It's so sad the way that, like, we're so cowed in a way. Like the working class is so like, please manage us in a way. The way this is worded, I don't think there are a lot of people that feel this way, because I know this isn't a rich school district. Because that's the thing you really got to talk about is like, let's look at which schools are struggling with reading. Yeah. And let's look at their class size, and let's look at how much money we're giving to these schools.
Yeah. No, it's underfunded schools. This is what pisses me off is when I have to talk to people all the time now that when they send their kids to fucking private schools, they're talking about how they love being. I feel like I've already done this song and dance on this show already. But yeah, people think that the bad results at these schools have anything to do with the quality of education or the teachers
or kids
or the kids,
because they're blaming
the capacity of the kids too. Yeah. No, their kids are already worried about other things in their fucking life. Their parents don't have extra time, to sit down and do the extra reading homework and shit. People are working several jobs and shit. And some people's parents are just too fucked up all the time.
I actually think that's an interesting thing, because you're at that age now where you still have to help with all the homework every single night. And you're surprised. I remember being surprised at even that age at the amount that they're handing out. But if you were,
hers is pretty easy, but it's still a matter of, it's really just comes down to doing it. I mean, whether it's like, me and Eric are already like really worried about the more advanced level stuff, but like for this, it's really just a matter of doing it. It's just like read a book, work on letters and stuff, and spend 30 fucking minutes. That's all.
How much reading is there every day?
Just read one book.
15 minutes a day.
Just read a book.
Gwen had to read I think it was a half hour every single day. This wasn't in kindergarten. No, we're talking two completely different things, But as they start to progress through elementary school, they start adding more. And Gwen had about an hour a night where, she could do most of it. Like, I'll just tell you this: when I went to orientation the year, and they said, we want you to be hands off on the homework. If they need your help, obviously don't say no.
Right.
But we would prefer it if you didn't sit down with them and do the whole time.
Yeah.
Because we want them to do it. I'm just still bad at it anyway. They told me that I shouldn't bring her stuff. If she forgets stuff at home, then we shouldn't bring it in for her.
Uh-huh.
We do that. And once or twice a week, somebody's parent goes and buys all those kids Chick-fil-A. And they'll just be sitting there eating Chick-fil-A for lunch. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. We had some real, my kid is so funny. Everybody has heard her. I'll get her on the show. I'll do a show with her again sometime. Maybe I'll do a show with her this week, because she's on spring break and we have time. But me and her at war right now, because she's mad because she's getting my car when I pay it off. And I'm getting a new one, because I come from a world where the parents get all the good stuff and the kids get the second thing.
Right.
I want
there's no other world than that.
I don't know, man. Some people don't believe that. Do you think everybody believes that? Because I tend to think that's my most regressive. That's my most regressive trait of all the things that I do. Like, I am a pretty progressive parent, and I do things pretty progressively. But for me, it's like if that fucking, I want better shoes than my kid, because you know what? They're fucking, I'm buying the goddamn shoes. They're mine. I get the good stuff, But the car was like, I don't think any kid should start with a new car. I think you're setting the whole idiotic thing up. Yeah. You're setting up a whole new, you're setting up a whole sort of expectation for the world, I think, when you give your kid a brand new car as soon as they turn 16.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
Because I'm like fully 100% on the let's get her license as soon as possible thing. Because
is that what she wants to do?
Yeah, and getting an extra person to go to the fucking store that's something, right? Like, sure. You can send her to get you stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, you go.
She can go to the grocery store once a day. Hey Gwen, go get me. Ask if they'll cut an onion in half. I only need a half for this recipe. Can see if they'll give you a half onion, like a broken one or something.
I know she's not gonna do any of it though.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I mean, anybody who knows her in real life knows that she's not gonna be helpful when she gets her license.
Well, and you're not gonna make her.
She's just not helpful. I think that's a deficiency she has.
Well,
not
I think
helpful.
you could probably hold her to a higher standard.
How do you make somebody helpful?
Well, I mean,
A teenager.
You giving someone a brand new car and they're ungrateful about it. I mean,
It's not brand new. It'll be
it's brand
2015.
new. That's a brand new car.
That's a nice car.
That's
yeah.
a fucking brand new car.
It's a Kia. Nice Kia Soul.
Yeah, there's
When you're
nothing for kids to be
16,
complaining about.
She wants a Mustang, she said. And I'm like, get the fuck out
you gotta
of here.
earn that.
You're never getting a Mustang.
You have to go get the money to buy that.
Should I go and start searching now for a 5.0?
Fox body? Go get her a 90. You should.
Go
You
get
could
her one
a
of those
Mustang.
escort-looking ass motherfucker.
Get her a nice 4-cylinder Mustang. That is a brilliant idea.
Just fucking scroll it. Yeah, I mean...
You'd be like, and so what we're gonna do is you're gonna just put this cassette in the deck here, and then you can plug your phone right in, and then you have your music right there. There's a little knob to turn. No digital.
I kind of do want her to have to drive like a Grand Am in a way. Like, why did I have to go through?
Well, it's
Grand
gonna get
Am?
wrecked. I mean, no one makes it to 17 without wrecking the fucking
No
car.
shit. Even if it doesn't wreck, it's got French fries and shit all. It's just gonna be disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
the
going to be
shit-
driven down until it has a burp of gas left in it.
Oh my, no shit. Every day I'm going to get up and I'm going to get in my car and there is going to be no gas. And I know that. You know, if I could even like, if one of these days we got to have Jason come on here and talk about the way that he treated my parents' cars, because it was just, he was wild. They had this little Geo Metro, man. My parents had this like 2-seater Geo Metro, and they were like, it's great. We got a Geo Metro. Now he can't drive all of his dumbass friends around, but they would just squeeze into that thing and be jumping, like catching air all the time. They go to the railroad. There's a railroad track that had a big bump, and the motherfuckers would just flying up that thing and jumping. And it's like,
yeah, that's why it's hard to, maybe you should just get her a car that's better for ramping or something.
yeah. I don't think she'll do it. I let her drive already once, and she only went 7 miles an hour. She's scared. That kid's scared of everything. What was your first one? What was your first car?
Camaro.
Okay.
An 86 Camaro. It was only $500. I got my first tax return from when I was like 15. The year I was 15, I worked at Fazoli's. I got a tax return. It was basically $500. My dad knew a guy from work that had a Camaro sitting around, and that's what I got.
And you had your license right away?
I got my license immediately. Yeah, I wanted to drive more than anything.
That's cool. I wanted to too, but my parents wouldn't let me, and then I turned 18, and then I didn't do it, and then finally, 23 years old, I finally get my license.
It is one of those things where, like, as you get after it, you're like, I don't think 16-year-olds should be driving. Once you're not 16, you're like, I don't think they should be driving.
I don't mind it. I did get hit by a 16-year-old the other day. I think
You got hit by one?
Well, yeah, I got
We used to
rear-ended by one.
I would be driving through like Kroger parking lots and would just be like, watch this. And I would just jerk the wheel and slam into a whole row of carts.
You're such
And
an
just
ass.
bash through them. And then fucking drive on home. And it would just be like a funny little joke, I told. It was like, wasn't even the main event of the night.
It's just
You're like, watch
little
this.
crack up we were doing.
One time I slam into this cart and it bounces off the pole and hits the front of my fucking car and rolls over the top of it. I thought it was gonna smash the windshield.
I fucking am sad. I never got to go wild because I didn't get my license until I was old enough to, like 23. You kind of basically know
you can't be in it. Yeah, I was doing that stuff like try me. I'm a minor.
My first car was a Chiva 95.
Ooh, that's a bad one.
A Chiva red. It's a Grand Am. It's almost all the same shit as a Grand Am, but it looks boxier, right? And I had it for like,
oh, that's tight. Yeah, that's a good car.
it was red. I had a red one, and it was a Grand Am. Like that thing was broke every minute of every day. And
See,
keep in
but
mind,
that's the same tradition. That car wasn't that old, was it?
95.
When did you get it?
2000.
Oh,
So,
I was thinking
I
you
didn't buy a
graduated.
car.
I was thinking, okay.
So
sorry.
like what happened was I started dating Katie, and she had a 1976 Nova that she bought for $500 when she was like 16 or 17. And that's what she drove. And that car was a piece of shit. Okay. Like it was even a car that's like they don't want you on the trade-in. Like when you
Yeah.
go to do the trade-in, they're like, I mean, what are we
Keep it.
even going to do with that
Yeah.
thing?
You take it to a scrapyard and get $50.
So I sort of drove that for a little bit when we got this little 98 Nissan 200 SX. And it was olive green.
Wow.
And that thing
Hall of Fame of.
fucking, yo, you're white trash, dude. I've told you this. I can't ever like articulate enough who I am as a person. So we got this thing, and of course the power windows broke. We didn't do any maintenance on it.
Sure.
The goddamn thing was such a piece of shit. Like one of the lugs busted off, so I couldn't drive on the freeway. I'm driving fucking an hour and a half home from work every day, and it's right across town, right? Sure. Like I worked 15 minutes away on the freeway and an hour and a half on the roads, and I had to drive the roads because if I got on the freeway, that motherfucker that tire would fall off.
Yeah.
You know, it ended up happening too. Like I was turning a corner and the tire fucking just fell off.
Like the rim, too?
Everything. It just...
Okay.
Because the lug was crooked.
Yeah.
And it was shaking that whole time, and it broke one lug off.
And you
I was
thought
like,
if you just didn't pay attention to it, it would fix itself.
well, that's kind of my philosophy with cars. It happened all the time with that car. I've told the story a few times about when I was getting off the exit ramp and that fucking Nissan. I got off the exit ramp one time, and it blew a tire, and I fucking turned the radio up. And before it got so bad that the tire was wrapped around the axle of the car instead of because I drove for so long. Because I was just like, I'm fucking 2 miles from work, man. I'll get it after work. Is like kind of what I was thinking, but it didn't end up working.
Oh my God, yeah, for sure it didn't.
Yeah. Lazy, man. I
Yeah.
mean, that's again, we've talked about this on the show a bunch, but like, I really do think that like, obviously we want more mass transit and stuff like that, but we don't talk enough about some kind of way to ensure that a car breaking down isn't like a catastrophic life event.
Yeah, that's true. For sure. Yeah, I would rather not have I would rather you have a place where someone can take care of your fucking vehicle.
Yeah.
Like this is where like the serve part of the police comes in mind, where it's like,
Okay.
come fix this fucking guy's tire. How about
I
you do that?
think that.
Make sure this
you.
fucking guy is not driving around on the roads with this crooked ass lug.
How many times have you seen a guy or a woman changing a tire on the side of the road and a cop clocking people just like a quarter
Right.
of a mile away?
Right.
Where it's like, well, I mean, you know, you could.
Yeah, you get
Do
handy
something.
with it.
Okay, well, then maybe some of the listeners might need a refresher, but me and Brett are anti-cop. This show's very anti-cop, but we do have a model for what the cops can be in a better society, and it's really it is kind of like the if you can lean, you can clean model in a way, but for public servants.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's sort of like
Instead
okay,
of- right.
So what the cops would need to do, right, is break up fights. That's all
Yeah.
I think.
No
Okay?
more, no proactive policing. We don't need you to no more busy work, no more finding stuff to do. You will just pick up the trash,
Clean windows.
change
tires.
tires for people.
Yeah.
Do brake light changes for people.
See,
right?
that would be great.
Stop them. Say, whoa, your license plate bulb is out. Let me get you a replacement there.
God, that is beautiful.
Right,
Yeah.
and pick up the trash mainly. There's a lot of trash.
Trash, yeah. Just clean up the cigs.
Cigarette butts,
Yeah.
food wrappers, but then like bank heist. That's
Yeah.
your time to shine.
There's
That's
bank-
when the and policing part.
Yeah,
that's
Department
but
of Sanitation.
not for bank heist. We don't need bank heists though. Maybe.
Yeah, no, we want banks.
Yeah,
Department
what would
of-
you need the police?
Like
for?
if somebody stole the food rations
sure, okay,
that we're handing out in my world,
right.
right.
If someone on a forklift pulled up and stole a pallet full of lettuce from Food Not Bombs.
Yeah, but in that, like, that's why it's called the Department of Sanitation and Policing, because policing is like the second thing they do, and it is, again, like, I don't even think it's necessary. Like, we just want somebody who is willing to jump between people and crime.
Sure,
I guess.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
Like, I would do it. I would do it in that. I'm never going to be a cop. But if the job was like, go around and do some general work, you know, get some shit done. Again, cleaning windows. And like people's windows too in their neighborhood, not just business windows. I think that we could get confused about
Clean the bottoms of my feet.
yeah, clean the bottoms of my feet maybe if they're dirt. If I step in doo doo,
Yep.
sir,
Mr. Officer, my feet are filthy.
I mean, I guess we need people because I saw this happen last week when it was really windy. The traffic lights went out
Yes.
on High Street,
Yep.
which is 5th and High, which is one of the busier parts of our downtown
Obnoxiously
area.
busy.
It's very busy, and it descended into horrible chaos. It
I imagine.
was actually scary. Like I was kind of
Honking.
standing there watching.
People going, doing that shit.
Yeah, dude was like, and like there was like these two homeless guys standing there while it was going on and just screaming, "It's a 4-way stop! It's a 4-way stop! Don't you people know what a 4-way stop is?"
Yeah.
At the people sitting in traffic.
See?
Yeah, and then God forbid you had to fucking cross the street.
Yeah.
That was scary. We
Sure.
just almost saw so many accidents and so many people get hit. So, if somebody...
See, but the thing is, nobody got hit.
That's true. It did happen.
So
it didn't.
Yep.
There
So,
wasn't an accident.
No more lights either.
Okay.
We need to get rid of the lights.
Well, no, we're... look, I'm mad at them. I thought of this invention for the lights. You want to hear my new invention for the lights?
Uh-huh.
I thought of this last night.
Got it.
I'm driving home from the bar. It is 1:30 in the morning. There is a traffic light right before I get to my house. That is like, so I hit a traffic light. And if I make it through all these traffic lights, there's still one last one from where I was coming from. I'm telling Katie, I'm like, what if I could just text that light and tell him I'm on my way? Like, I'm going to be at the light in a minute. I don't have to get there for the light to change. Because it's so late, dude.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, I could drive through it.
Yeah.
And I should be allowed to. But, I mean, really, there should be a app.
We could do... You could do it with RFID on your license plate.
Oh,
and it
I
would just
know.
know you were coming.
Yeah, that's what you want. You wanted it. Because I have to
But
wait
it's
at
not-
that light
it's
every
not-
time.
Right. It's not done to, like, serve us. So it's not done to, like, help us out and make things easier. It's to make money off of us.
Yeah, yeah.
It's to catch us.
Well, I think
and fine us.
our idea for turning them off after a certain time, like flashing them all after like
All flash.
2 in the morning, because I drive home from here and I got to go through so many lights, and it's like, get out of here, man.
know.
It is
Nonsense.
Sunday and it's 1 in the morning.
Yeah, no one's out here.
I don't need to wait.
Were we talking about a news story? Did we get into this?
Yeah, we was talking about this. It was the lottery news story, or the not the lottery. The guy that wants to. The guy that wants to take.
Oh yes, the school lunch thing. I was just trying to remember how the fuck we got to where
Let's
we're
read
at.
his statement about the school lunch thing. You want to hear
Sure.
like his actual
wanna hear his
statement?
disgusting
It'll piss you
statement.
off. Here's the reason behind the proposed bill. I am not new to controversy. You don't get anything important done without confrontation and taking a few knocks. He's taking knocks. This guy is taking knocks, not the kid he's trying to take their lunch away from. He's literally trying to take people's lunch.
Yeah, he's still taking food from kids.
Yeah. Seeing that Arkansas children can
It just
read.
doesn't. There's like these fucking meme people that don't understand that if you say something that is true and that strikes at the heart of like justice and fairness and equality, people will hate you for that. You notice immediately that people will jump down your throat.
Yeah.
That's not the same as just being like fucking awful person and pissing someone off and saying, "Oh, that's because I'm so great."
Yeah. Well, yeah, he said, I want
You
to.
could like if you came out and said, "I think that all these kids should be. I think that should we go home and serve dinner to all of our children because they truly are the future." People would try to cut his head off.
I know.
Then he would know what it's like to have people angry at you. Start talking about taking care of people and see how much hate mail you get.
Yeah. I want to start this over because the way it's worded here, and I'm not new to controversy. You don't get anything important done without confrontation and taking a few knocks. Seeing that Arkansas children can read is worth a few bruises. That like he doesn't believe this, by the way.
No, this is just showboating. This is just he's trying to be a villain.
Yeah.
He's trying to get votes, man. This is a way to get people on his side. He's going to be the villain, conservative villain that does the hard. I'm going to make the hard choices. These kids I can't read, I'm going to take away their lunch.
Yeah.
Right? That sounds like something my mom would say, you know?
Well, yeah,
Like that happened to her when she was a kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is kind of, you see a lot
We didn't do our book learning. We didn't have peanut butter sandwiches.
They didn't let us have lunch.
That's not my mom's voice, but that's the spirit of that voice because I'm just hearing it from so many people now.
Yeah. And if you...
Like people just abuse.
Yeah.
What is it come? I don't.
Well, they're also, Arkansas has the welfare drug test bill back out there too. They're
cool.
trying to pull that off.
Cool.
You know, that is like a sure win with like really mean people. You know, like it's like the most awful people in the world are going to rally behind you if you say poor people shouldn't be allowed to own an Xbox.
Yeah. No, it's a great way to win.
Yeah. I was told my bills were too controversial and we couldn't do any better than we were. Now we're at 41%, so I'm thankful I didn't listen. But that still means that almost 60% of our kids are graduating and can't do the most basic thing we send them to school for, well, read. That's crazy. That like, so 60% of their kids are graduating and unable to read, and it's the kids' fault.
Right.
Or it's the, like, who's that?
The kids are different.
Yeah.
Than every other kid.
Yeah.
The situation is different, though.
Yeah.
They're dealing with you fucked up people like you in charge.
You fucked up crazy people
Yeah.
who are just trying to punish them for, I don't know. I bet you if we started looking at like teacher compensation in Arkansas, I'll bet if we started looking at, you know, there's a lot of stuff we could start looking at in Arkansas that you would notice that it's like, well, maybe if we did better for the schools, maybe if we recruited people that, like, I mean,
It's not. It's yeah. I mean, it's always just comes down to living conditions at home.
yeah.
That's what I mean, that's the only difference. The difference between the rich school and the poor school is how much income the people have at home.
That's probably, yeah, I would guess that. I mean,
It provides you with a level of safety and security and time and less stress and less anxiety than being broke all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And trying to raise your fucking kid, you know, or multiple kids.
yeah.
It's fucking impossible.
Yeah, imagine.
And the parents are being punished too. I mean, the parents are also. This is a continuation of like the court system too, that punishes the parents and shit. So.
Yeah. It's just the punishing doesn't seem like the way to get them to achieve.
It doesn't. work.
I don't believe that either.
We have all the evidence in the world, but it's like it's a way to make money. You know, it generates income. The same way that like the lights don't make sense, but they do generate income, you know?
Yeah. And so in the end, he ends this with, "It appears I have much more faith in our schools than many of our educators do."
Right.
State Senator Alan Clark. State
This doesn't
senators
sound
are
serious. It doesn't sound serious that you wouldn't address the issue and have something more intelligent to say than I'm going to be fucking mean about it.
Yeah.
What is it about this, man? We have so many fucking meek. I don't know. We put up with so much shit from
Yeah.
these people, and every time, like I read those Minion Death Cult, all of the comments, like every couple comments will always be, "I'll kick your ass" or "I'll kill you." Right?
Yeah.
I win. So there we go. Now we can't argue anymore because I'll fucking beat your head in.
Absolutely. That is, or they're just,
You can't. You're not gonna read. I'm just gonna take your fucking food.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of meanness to it, and I don't know, you know, I haven't looked at the memes as much as I used to lately. I guess I should get in and start checking that shit out. And it's like, I guess like that's what Minion Death Cult are doing now. But the memes are also very mean. Like almost all the things that stimulate these people to conversation or action is actual like mean shit, and
Brutal.
you just want to talk like
Angry.
Yeah, it's I can't. How can I get in? Like, how can I get like cut through this? Is there a way that? Because again, like I don't think socialism solves this problem. I think those people are happier. when they're able to not worry about healthcare and shit like that. I mean, I would guess.
Yeah.
Like, if we could alleviate some of the actual pressures that they're under, despite them, you know, I guess feeling like they deserve that a lot of time. Because I for some reason, it feels like there are times where I think like there are a lot of people who have just been beaten down and have just, you know, been told they can't be or do anything.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, me and my wife talked about this the other day, and it was like, I mean, it took me till 40 to do the job I want to do because, like, and she was kind of talking about how she wants a different job, and I was talking about how like we got it beat into us that nothing was possible. You know, the parenting was like, we're gonna beat this into you. That here's what's possible, and it's just a few things. Just like there's a few jobs that are possible that are gonna be good for you, and that's things like working in an office, filling out spreadsheets. Maybe blue collar work, like a lot of like roofing or cable company or fucking electric company. But those are the max.
I don't think it was that prescriptive though. For me, I think it's more of just an attitude of one of like, you can do anything you want in the world, and then also don't expect to ever be happy.
Yeah,
that's why I feel like it's always like you're gonna have to be miserable. You're gonna also have to be miserable most of the time.
Man, I gotta say, I don't think I ever felt any possibility for anything good happening to me. Like, I don't feel like anybody ever told me that I could do anything in this world that I want to. I feel like when I talked about, I mean, I guess this was maybe just my impression of things, but I feel like when I talked to people about things, oftentimes they told me all the reasons I couldn't do something, and it felt very discouraging a lot of times. So that's just maybe how I pick things up, but I don't think I ever felt like everything was possible. There wasn't like,
well, I think but that's what the culture says though. I mean, anyone can be president, right? That's what we're told.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody can be a rock star, and then you find out they're all just like the sons and daughters of rich people. Anybody can, be an actor, and then you find out they're all the sons and daughters of actors. So, but I think that our culture sells that anything is possible, that, we have the freedom and liberty to pursue anything we want in life. And it's just not fucking true. Like based upon where you're born and the circumstances you're in, it can be very challenging to get out. Sure. Some people do. And then they have survivor bias because they don't realize the other people that find it incredibly hard to do that, because it is.
Yeah. I always hope that doesn't happen with me, where the thing is like, I kind of, struggled through the first part of my adulthood, and now I have some success coming my way. I hope I never think like anybody can achieve this.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I got a few things we can do for the end of the show here. Rogue Brewery is a place that we talked about recently on What do you got? What you got?
Go ahead, sorry.
Do you have something else? You can. I'll take it. I just was going to finish out the show kind of reading some of the information that was passed on to me about Rogue Brewery in the past. Since we talked about it the first time, people really responded to that and
okay, sorry. I was going to try to. I thought there was some. We didn't answer any of the questions. We didn't check the chat for any questions.
I thought you were looking at the chat. I apologize.
Like I wasn't.
I apologize.
Did I can't look in there because I get too lost.
Okay. Well, were there questions? Damn it! Now I feel like
no, it's fine.
There was nothing there?
There was a couple, but I don't know where they're at. I can't find them now. People are just chatting.
Sorry, everybody.
I shouldn't have brought it up.
I let y'all down. Well, let's talk about Rogue.
Okay, what are they doing?
And get the fuck out of here. This is off of Reddit. The guy, or the person that runs the Reddit Beer Circle Jerk subreddit.
Okay.
I think listens to the show.
Nice.
And they sent me a few threads from there.
Oh, from where?
From people who worked for Rogue.
Holy shit.
And so I have some a few of the threads
is
that
gonna
have
be
shown
juicy.
up on there. Oh, believe me, it is. And
You
I
get a
also
sound
saw.
of like a squeezing, like a juicy sound.
I will say this
Juicy.
too. Maybe we'll play this for the Patreon video subscribers, but I do have the video of them hiring somebody that was basically they had to pull it off YouTube because it was illegal. Because they were like making them go down slides and do all this goofy shit at their job
Really?
interview, but the audio wasn't like good to listen to. But if
Okay,
you can
okay.
watch it,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
we'll do that for the Patreon video people because they got this motherfucker sliding down a slide during his interview. Like, hey,
Yeah.
go over there. Hey, you can't work here without
It's
a sense
fun.
of humor. It's
Yeah.
fun, slide down. It's like,
Nerf
fuck you,
fight.
man.
Nerf fight.
It's like if you're making me have fun, I
Yeah.
don't want that.
Talk like a pirate, Dave
I
Ryan.
feel dominated in that moment if you're making me have fun. It's not fun to be dominated by like some person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So what does it say?
Am I still reverby? Did I fix it? I could. Hold
Oh,
on.
Jesus, that's back.
It's a fucking USB connection.
It's the USB connection.
All right, well, let's just never do that again.
Okay. Hi, Redditors. I know there's a ton of hate for Rogue, and I've read a bunch of your posts and comments, and I've lurked but never posted anything before. I worked for Rogue a few years ago. Briefly, it was so horrible. I worked in their gross, filthy warehouse in Southeast Portland where they had a sales and marketing team sent out their overpriced crappy merchandise and tried to ferment grain and open up a bottle shop. Jack Joyce was still alive, and he used to sit in this dark little room at the back of the warehouse and verbally abuse employees and drink coffee and chain smoke.
Nice.
I'm picturing this guy now.
Yeah.
Ah, you son of a bitch! Get back here, you piece of shit! This is like a Mad Men era boss. I did data entry and shuffled paperwork and sent out mass emails to people about the latest disgusting beer stunt they were trying to market to Midwesterners. That's not fair.
Yeah, come on.
We fall for beer. Okay, we just
Everybody
like beer here.
does. The whole damn industry is corny.
Well, everybody likes beer
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's just like I mean, we don't. People in Ohio don't like need an excuse
Sure.
to drink beer, but
Right.
it's nice if you give them one.
Exactly.
Kind of like that. It's a milk stout. It's
Right.
new. Like I have to drink it. Okay. Anyway, I got fired 2 weeks before Christmas because I wasn't rogue enough, which means I got fired for no reason at all. They do this all the time to their flocks of employees, but they allow us to collect unemployment, which seems to save them from legal action, although eventually it might catch up to them. I'd love to hear about that. So this person was fired 2 weeks before Christmas because they weren't rogue enough. So that's...
I mean, they were like, we were counting up Christmas gifts, and we don't have one for you.
Yeah.
We don't have enough for you.
Anyway, so there I was in the middle of December, unemployed and broke and pretty upset about it. Part of being rogue apparently meant that the company wouldn't pay for software because paying for software licenses is too corporate and we are rogues. They bragged about this to all their employees that they then fired. They didn't
What?
pay for any of the Microsoft Office suites that all their employees use.
What?
It was all pirated. That is rogue.
That's very
That's
rogue.
rogue.
Pirates.
Oh, God, dude, there's a number.
Rogue pirates. What?
There's actually a piracy number that you can report that stuff to, and they'll pay you fucking money.
Facebook ads for it all the
I
time.
see it too, and every time I'm like, look, I'm no snitch, but
This sounds like a good payday.
especially for like a horrible person, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'll take 5 Gs.
Sure, whatever.
I would never like do it to a regular person, but a business doing it is like,
That's crazy.
what?
The Rogue. I mean, that's huge company.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Their shit has been around forever.
They also only paid for a couple of Salesforce logins that they then shared with the entire company.
Right.
All of this is fraud and is not legal. So being that I had nothing to do, I contacted BSA, the Software Alliance, Microsoft, and Salesforce and told them everything I knew.
Oh, wow.
And then I kind of forgot about it because I had to move on with my life and get another job. I do that stuff all the time, but there's more. About 6 months later, I got a thank you letter and a check from the Software Alliance for $1,672.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, man.
That is a come up.
Yes. A come up for also
See, but
getting revenge.
I kind of like Rogue, though. If they were paying people, I like Rogue more.
Right. Rogue is bad.
Right.
Because they are terrible to their employees and they're not paying them shit.
But I don't care
and
if they're
evil.
pirating software.
I don't either. But sometimes you just got to work with what you got.
No,
you
that's
know?
great. No, I would have done it too. Definitely.
Well, definitely now. If I have to get a job again and I find out about some pirated software after hearing $1,600, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I go home and make a phone call here. A $1,600, which I do believe would have been 10% of the fine levied on Rogue. A $1,600 surprise windfall for doing my civic duty. I used that money to take my wonderful boyfriend to the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, and we
Shit.
drank and laughed and frolicked in the ocean. We had a grand old time courtesy of Brett Joyce, king of the fat assholes. Suck it, Brett Joyce.
That's awesome.
So,
Congratulations.
that's the first story we got. That's very funny. And it did. If you're a listener out there and you're working for a small business tyrant that's pirating software,
yeah, but your check ain't going to be that big.
it could be that
it's
you
on-
get 10% of the fine.
Sure. If it's 5 computers, it's going to be $50.
$500?
$50.
I'm not against getting $50.
Okay.
I'm pro getting $50. I'm looking. So these are people that they're talking about what they do with the beer, Brett.
Okay.
Because I got a lot of info about that. And so
Like how
one
they
business
make-
practice I've not seen mentioned yet is how they will create special batches of beer for various causes, third parties, or events. Take the following beers: Newport 125th Anniversary Ale, Whale Ale, Wolf Eel Ale, Yellowstone Ale. These are all dead guys sold as special one-offs. You walk up to a bar and see that they have Rogue Whale Ale, and they say to yourself, "I've never had that before. Let's try it out." Congrats, Rogue, for confusing the average beer drinker. So what they're doing is they're like, these are special anniversary beers, but they're just regular beers with a different name that they put in a new bottle.
Oh,
dead-
it's just regular dead guy.
Yeah.
But they say this is whale ale for this event.
Yeah.
Save the whales or
There's
something.
that.
Smart.
Let's see here.
nice scummy business model so far.
So let's let these.
But there's just some asshole at the top taking all the money. There's always some carny at the top that's getting everything.
That's the problem when you start talking about it's cool that they pirate stuff. It's like, yeah, but it's like a fucking carny thing.
It is cool that they also rebottle the same beer because once again, who gives a fuck? It's all beer, right?
Yeah. I don't care. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it is all in the end. It's like, I mean, I've said this about Coke and Pepsi. Oh my God, people are getting so mad. In the end, it's the same fucking thing.
Just blend them together and have one drink. Be done with it. That's our solution. I'm sure no one will be mad about that. The new solution to our problems, to our divisive country, Coke and Pepsi blended together.
Coke and Pepsi. I mean, I get in so much trouble for just being like, they're the same goddamn thing to
We
me,
should start
man.
selling that.
Coke, just Coke, Pepsi.
Bottle it ourselves, yeah.
Street Fight Cola, Coke and Pepsi.
Street Fight Cola is a hybrid of Coke and Pepsi.
All right, here we go. The time I spent working for Rogue. I worked there in the brewery for about 6 months. I was there when Brett fired a brewer in a company-wide meeting with the words, "Fuck you, redacted, you're fired."
Whoa.
God, they seem like really into that.
Yeah.
Like big public displays of power, and they seem
I'm the
horrible.
boss man.
I walked out of the meeting and called my old boss back. She offered me my job at $2 an hour more, and I never worked another minute for those motherfuckers. During the same meeting, they fired everyone on the bottle line and made them beg for their jobs back. Oh, and that brewery's fucking covered in black mold, especially around the glycol lines, because instead of spending money on a modern brewery, they make beer in a 100-year-old warehouse 10 feet from the bay. To say the drainage in the building is bad is an understatement. I saw sewage backflow into the brewery more than once. Oh, and they brag at the end of the year about how many people they've fired. Seriously, they actually put in the newsletter. It's a shame because, as the original poster said, John is a pretty good brewer, and they do make a few good beers. Unfortunately, Brett and Jack don't even like beer and only care about marketing. So see you, dead guy. So you see dead guy and not much else. So that was a person describing their
Yeah, didn't someone say they fired a bunch of people and then hired them back on for less?
Yeah, that's something they do, is like, if they'll fire everybody that works on the line, and then they'll be like, well, I mean, we could give you your job back if you would take a little less pay.
I think what it is, rogue.
Yeah, I think what it is like, if they get up around $10 an hour or something, they fire them all and then make them come back for $8.50. Like, they're trying to keep the pay at $8.50 an hour.
Fuck. In where are they at?
They're in San Francisco, I believe.
God damn.
Yeah, Portland too. They're in Oregon. I know
sounds
that.
illegal out. That should be illegal out there.
It should be illegal everywhere. Let's see if we got one more about working there, because these are wild to me, man.
It's weird. I mean, it's not weird. It's just like we just put up with this shit.
Yeah. That's all.
Everybody just puts up with. They just expect this to be work life.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess, like, for me, it's like, how do they get away with this? Like, how does
people need money? People are desperate for fucking money, and they're just enough assholes to be like, I'm one of the rogue pirates. I made it. 150 fuckers came through this door, and I'm one of the survivors.
Jesus, man,
such a weird culture.
Yeah,
and the chiseling of the. Like, all the benefits and the wages down to nothing. I just don't understand the appeal of it at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
Who's buying into it?
I just really hope. I hope if you're listening to this show, you're not buying Rogue. But, God, it would be great to destroy that company's name. And
yeah,
I think I really think that even if, like, regular old people knew the kind of stuff. I mean, I think that everybody that drinks their beer is convincible. Do you know what I mean? Like, the just the type of people that drink craft brews. I mean, I'm sure they're total fucking assholes in every other aspect of their life, but I think that they're
sure.
But I think that they're convincible. I don't think that they're like a lost cause type thing, The craft brew people get a bad name. I have been around some horrible ones.
Sure.
I mean, I drove them around a lot when I was on Lyft, like from beer festival to beer festival, and it was just like, ugh, leave me alone already. But I think that they're the type of person that you could talk to and be like, you could drink something else. Like, just get a different one of these beers. Just don't drink this shit.
Yeah, but I think that most of them are run by assholes, is what everybody's saying.
I'm seeing that a lot too, that most microbreweries are paying for shit and just playing on the passion of that's the sad thing about it, is it's really them playing on the passion. It's like a Upright Citizens Brigade sort of thing, where it's like these people are passionate about, beer and wanting to get good beer in the hands of people, and so they'll work at a place like that. So they'll pay them shit because working there is sort of a dream job for a kind of person.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think we're good, man. I think we did as long as we can do.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Hope to get the calls eventually working someday. Maybe we won't do call-in shows anymore.
We will do call-in shows.
You can find more of what we do on Patreon. We do a zine. We do bonus videos and bonus shows. Patreon.com/StreetFightWCRS. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, Snapchat. We're at StreetFightWCRS. And then we can always watch along. We do the show every Wednesday night around 9. Wednesday nights we do it like 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday, we do it 9 to midnight is when we're usually taking calls. So thanks for being here. We have new cords, and we've spent a lot of money, and eventually we'll get it working. But we will see you on Wednesday. We are Street Fight. Peace. Oh, yeah.